Welcome to Holding Space with Authentically Amy. This is a place where you don't have to perform, prove, or hold it all together. You're allowed to exhale, to feel, to speak, or just be. Here, your truth is safe, your emotions are honored, and your soul is gently invited to the surface. I'm not here to fix you because I don't believe you're broken. I believe your soul already knows the way. My role isn't to give you advice, but to hold a steady frequency of love so you have space to rise. This podcast is an extension of my own healing. If you're here, you belong, and I'm honored to sit beside you. Welcome to another episode of Holding Space with Authentically Amy. I'm your host, Amy Thurman, and I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you guys so much for sharing these. You are loving this concept of simply allowing people to sit here and be human and tell stories about themselves. And I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to have my guest Stanley with me today. Stanley, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Amy. Good to be here.
Yeah, of course. I'm eager to know more about you and what you have to share with us here with our time together today. So, as you know, I'm here to hold space for you. So, if there's anything that feels heavy on your heart or that you'd like to talk about, I'm here for it. So, I'm going to turn it over to you and we'll go from there.
I don't know if I would say heavy on my heart,
Yeah.
but I would say area where I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's specifically, I'm concerned about the overall health of the average American and not just America, a lot of people in the world, period. Very concerned about their health. Um, the obesity crisis is horrible. It's off the charts. It's really bad. And it affects adults, it affects children, and it's bad worldwide also. And obesity is a very near and dear subject to me
Mm-hmm.
because it ties in with my story,
Okay.
my history. Specifically, my battle with obesity started September 13th, 1967.
Wow.
Um, my mother died on that day when I was 8 years old.
Oh, gosh.
So there I was, emotionally shut down, didn't cry, living with my massively obese father who had no clue how to eat properly. All he knew was to work hard, provide for his family, and stay out of trouble, which he did. He did those things very well. And so you look back at pictures from that time, I just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Most men like to brag if they're as small as they were when they got married. Well, I'm smaller than I was when I was 13 years old,
Wow.
which is
Mm-hmm.
funny, sick, all of the above, when you think about it, but that is the truth. And I found pictures to prove it. So went through high school, you know, problems with dating relationships. I had friends, but, women didn't want to date me. And I kept getting bigger and bigger. Same thing in college. Had plenty of friends. Women didn't want to date me. In my senior year in college, I lost about 75, 80 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't learn how to eat properly. I didn't change my mindset, didn't learn any of those things. And then I went on a road trip with some friends of mine, and there were cookies in the back seat. And the cookies and I had an intimate love affair during the trip.
Mm-hmm.
And there I was, right back in my old habits. The weight came back on with a vengeance, plus a lot more. So then I graduated from college, went along the way. Eventually, at the age of 28, went to law school. I was a CPA already, but I went to law school at the age of 28. And the stress of I was working full time and going to school at night. So the stress of all that and everything else, I maxed out in law school at 367 pounds, like this picture
Wow.
on the left.
Wow.
I'm
That's a
5'7".
difference.
I'm 5'7". I had a 58-inch waist.
Wow.
Today I have a 31-inch waist.
Mm.
And I did it with no drugs, no surgeries. And we'll talk about that in a minute because that's one of my areas of concern.
Yeah.
Um, so I went to law school, and once again, my last year in law school, I don't know what it is about the last year before graduating. I lost
Mm,
100 pounds. So I lost 100 pounds. Again, didn't learn how to eat properly. I learned portion control. I did some things differently, but I didn't, I wasn't doing it right. Or at least not what I would call right today, based upon what I know now.
mm,
And but I got small enough to where women would date me. I wound up getting married to a woman I've been married to for it'll be 26 years in September.
wow.
And so that's where that was. Then I started my own law and accounting practice. The stresses of that,
Mm,
slowly over time, the weight started to come back on. I never got back to my full 367, but I did get up to 320, which was still pretty big. And as I was getting ready to turn 50 years old, 17, a little over 17 years ago, February 1st, 2009, I woke up and I said, where am I going to be in 5 years if I keep doing what I'm doing? And I didn't like the answer
mm,
because the answer was dead.
yeah.
And I decided I didn't want to be dead. As I like to say, I was committing slowicide at the
Mm,
time,
wow.
slowly eating myself to death. So I told my wife, I'm done. I'm cooked. I wasn't at rock bottom. See, I don't think you have to hit rock bottom to make changes. You just have to want to make the changes. You have to become willing to permanently change. Because what I learned from all the other times I lost weight was all my changes were always temporary. And when I stopped making the changes, the weight came back on, plus more. So become willing. So I said, I'm cooked. I'm done. To be honest with you, I was disgusted with myself.
Yeah.
I was, I said, I have a successful business career. I'm doing very well. And what I'm doing in my personal life is disgusting. And it's a total waste of material. And I can be so much more than what I am. And I did not like it. I was unhappy. So I said, I'm going to make some changes starting right now. And I told my wife, you may or may not like these changes, but I have to make them or I'm going to be dead. And I said, if you don't like them, I said, I'm going on a journey. I hope you come along with me. I really do.
Mm,
But if you don't like these changes, there's the door. You can walk out anytime you want. I told her that. I had what I call a moment of healthy selfishness,
mm-hmm.
and I actually wrote a book on that called The Way of Healthy Selfishness,
Oh, yeah.
where you put your oxygen mask on first. They tell you that when you're on an airplane. Put your
Right.
oxygen mask on first. Is that being selfish? So you have to take care of yourself first, or you're not going to be in a position to take care of others. So she stuck along with me, and we're still married, and so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
So changes I made right away. I said I was drinking every day. I was drinking scotch every day, and I said, was I an alcoholic? I don't think so, but I don't know, and it doesn't matter. All I know is I was drinking too much, and I know that it was not serving me. I was serving it.
Mm,
So I took my last bottle of scotch, poured it down the toilet. I believe in symbolism. Hit flush, gone. Haven't had a drink in 17 years.
wow.
And I actually found it pretty easy to quit drinking, believe it or not. And I think it's because I was not physically addicted to it. And that's
Oh,
that's not to make light of people who have difficulty with quitting drinking, because I know a lot of
right.
people do. I'm just saying my experience was it wasn't that hard.
Sure.
What I actually found harder was soda pop.
Mm,
2 liter bottles of soda pop, diet caffeine free. So surely that was healthy, right?
oh,
No,
wow.
no, no. I was drinking 3 of those a day.
Wow.
So I did the same thing. Took my last bottle, poured it down the toilet, hit flush, gone. Haven't had one in 17 years. And like I said,
Mm.
I found that harder to kick than the scotch. And I think it's because I used to drink it all day, every day. And here I was stuck with drinking boring water. Uh, so, but that's where I was. And then I quit eating red meat, beef and pork. And
Oh,
I like chicken and turkey. So I said, that's no big deal. I can quit doing that. So I quit doing that. And then I said, I have to start exercising. I picked walking as an exercise. And the reason why I picked walking was I figured I could do it anywhere, anytime. I didn't need a lot of special equipment and it would beat me up less than any other form of exercise. And
hmm,
considering I was going to be turning 50, that's something you should be concerned about. So I started walking. And when I started in the beginning, I had trouble walking 2 or 3 blocks and I'd be out of breath and my knees would hurt. I found a gym that was open 24 hours that had a pool, and I would go there in the middle of the night when the pool was empty, and I started
mm,
walking laps in the pool. And that way it didn't hurt my knees.
yeah.
And I got up to an hour, then 2 hours, then 3 hours. And
Wow.
I set a goal that I wanted to do a 5 hour pool walk on my 50th birthday. 50th birthday, I'd lost about 50 pounds by then. I did a 5 hour pool walk. Two
Oh
days
my
later,
goodness.
2 days later, I did 5.5 hours. I mean, what
Gosh.
happened? What happened was there was another really overweight guy saw what I was doing, and he wanted to know what I was doing, and I had him get in the pool with me and start walking with me, and he ran me over my 5 hour time, so I went up doing 5.5 hours. Um,
Wow.
but that's fine. And so over time, I continued to make more changes. I want to emphasize this was an evolutionary process.
Hmm.
I didn't just all of a sudden start out being perfect.
Right.
And you know why this turned out being perfect? Because we are human beings. We are not
Mm.
perfect.
That's right.
There are no perfect human beings. There never have been. I don't think there ever will be. Trust me, I tried. I didn't get there.
Yeah.
I was a 367-pound perfectionist.
Mm.
Tell me that's not
That's
hypocritical or
interesting.
strange or
Wow.
weird or whatever.
It is
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, I used to complain all the time that people weren't as perfect as me. Um, so I made mistakes along the way. And when I made mistakes, I didn't do what I used to do, which was beat myself upside the head, tell myself that I was worthless, no good, and then go back to my old habits. Instead, I said, made a mistake. Mistakes are proof that I'm trying.
Yeah.
What can I learn from the mistake? And I picked myself back up and I kept going. Fall down 7 times, get up 8.
That's right.
It's more like I fell down 1,000 times, got up 1,001. But that 1,001st time, I was ready to roll.
Mm.
And the previous 1,000 times taught me what I needed to learn to get to where I was. So over time, I quit eating meat completely. I became vegetarian. And then ultimately, I became vegan
Mm.
because I found that I had to give the butter, cheese, and ice cream to get the last 50 pounds off.
Yeah.
It would not come off while I was eating those foods, even though I was exercising. By that time, I was walking 10 to 15 miles every day.
Wow.
And I couldn't lose the weight. So, I said, that's got to be what's messing me up. I quit eating butter, cheese, and ice cream. I lost 50 pounds in like 5 minutes. I mean, I literally
Mm.
melted before your eyes.
Wow.
And,
I imagine your
and
labs are a lot different too then.
well, yo, absolutely. I had my physical, I'm 66. I had my physical about 5, 6 weeks ago. Um, and I'll put my lab work numbers up against any 30-year-old.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm 30, except I wasn't this healthy when I was 30. I didn't have this energy when I was 30. I was a big
Yeah.
mess. Um, and so Since the day I went vegetarian 12 and a half years ago, I've been sick one time. Since the day I went vegan, I've been sick 0 times.
Mm,
And that includes getting exposed to COVID. My wife caught it in the airport, brought it home. My body felt off for 2 days, about like I was like 75%, but my body threw it off. And
mm,
so it's a testament to me. I'm very big on nutrition. I think the food we put in our bodies is very important. And you ask me what's in my heart. I think the food that the average person puts in their bodies is garbage.
mm,
And the food that is being sold to us by so many companies is, in my opinion, garbage. The food that is being marketed to us is, in my opinion, garbage. The things that we're a lot, not all the things, a lot of things that we're being told are healthy is garbage. And I've learned the hard way what works and what doesn't. And
yeah.
and when we talk about diet, I want to emphasize, to me, diet is not just the food you put in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's the thoughts you put in your head.
That's right.
It's the environment you create for yourself. It's the people you surround yourself with. It's the experiences you have. You know, what did Gandhi used to say? Never let anyone walk through your mind with their dirty feet.
Hmm.
And like, for example, okay, it is 3:20 in the afternoon today. Do I have something else I could be doing right now? Sure. But here I am having an excellent conversation with an excellent human being, with an authentic human being, uh, you know, on an excellent topic. So it's worth it. It's a good thing. It's the kind of thing I should be doing. Now,
Right.
looking
I,
back, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I wanted to interject here because this thought has come up a couple times while you were talking. So I'm going to go ahead and say it that, talking about mindset, I have thought, because I have been in this situation, I gained 50 pounds over COVID and still working to get that weight off. But it's it's almost like there must be a sense of hope. Like that's what I have seen during your story, that there had to be a sense of hope that you could do it, and that sometimes we can't, that we don't have what it takes in the moment to give that to ourselves, that we need that outside influence, we need that community around us helping us see that there is hope and that there is a way to do this that is helpful, that can help our mindset. So I think that's a huge piece in this too, is that we have the hope that we can do, that we can make the change.
I agree, but I prefer to use the word belief.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
See, what I find is we don't believe. Um, this whole experience has taught me that I am more powerful than I ever imagined, way more powerful than I ever imagined. And it has taught me to believe in myself, but it
Mm-hmm.
has also taught me that if I'm more powerful than I ever imagined, what does that say about you? What does that say about your listeners? Is it because
Mm-hmm.
I'm Superman and I'm better than you? I'm better than them? No.
Oh,
It's because you too are more powerful than you ever imagined. You just may or
right.
may not realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I work to help people realize that they are more powerful than they ever imagined. You can do it. It is within your power to do it if you are willing to do it. See, I
That's
used to
right.
say the three most important words in the English language were, I love you. Not anymore. I say there, are you willing?
Mm,
Because unless and until you are willing to permanently do what it takes for the rest of your hopefully very long, hopefully very happy, hopefully very healthy life, you're not going to permanently get what you want. Just not going to happen.
yeah.
Willingness. And then willingness, belief in your power. You could call that hope if you want. Hope is fine. I have a book on hope called The Way of Hope, where I talk
Mm,
about that. And so it's, all those things. But then it's also persistence, getting started and never stopping. Hold up your cup, please.
Talk about this.
Yes,
Never
never
give
give
up.
up. Never give up. That's it right there. Get started. Do not stop. That's who I am. That's who I have become. Every time I make a mistake, I learn from that mistake and I pick myself back up. See, if I could change things that happened to me in my life and change things that I did in the past, would I? Yes, I would. But do I have any regrets for what happened to me or for what I went through? No,
Right.
because those experiences were necessary to teach me what I know now, to turn me into the person I am today, so that I could be in a position to help others.
Hmm.
Because to me, there is no higher purpose in life. To me, that is the purpose of life. Can you
Yeah.
imagine a world where everybody decided to help each other?
Imagine that.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah. I
You
want
know,
to say something about, because we talked about, falling down and getting up and trying again and not giving up. And, when we say that, I can already anticipate some people saying, but I just can't do that. Like it's just too hard for me. I just can't keep trying because I have been there. But yeah, right. Don't use the word can't. But what I have found that works for me that might work for some of you watching and listening is that when you fall down, it's okay to stay down for a short time. Like it's
mhm.
okay to rest. It's okay to stay there. It's okay to lick your wounds and to heal. It doesn't mean that you fall down and you instantly have to get back up because sometimes that's just not possible. We need the time to step away and really see what we can learn from the situation before we step back into it. So I think that's an important aspect to it as well.
Yeah, and can I give you an example about not being perfect? Happened to me today.
Sure.
Happened to me today where I was not perfect. I went to Costco. Costco can be a little bit of a madhouse sometimes. Walking
Yeah.
around, that's stressful in and of itself. I bought 5 items. One of them was very heavy. When I went to the self-checkout, so you can't, not really practical to lift it up and put it on the scanner. So when you do that, you hit the button to call the attendant. The attendant will come over with the price gun and they'll sit there and they'll scan it and they'll hit the gun. The lady said to me, "Sir, next time, would you please scan the small items before you call me over here to scan the big one?"
Hmm.
I didn't like that. I'm like, hey, I'm like, all the money I spent at this place and I got to hear that, thing from you. I didn't like that. I snapped at her. I did.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, or I could just walk out and leave all this stuff right here and not buy anything.
Hmm.
And then right away I turned to her and I said, ma'am, I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm having a bad day. What I did was wrong. I should not have done that to you. You did not deserve that. I apologize. So, you know, we all make mistakes, and then when
Right.
I'm walking out of the store, I said, Stanley, that's something you need to work on. But I want to add one little thing here because I think this is an important story about authenticity that and perspective that I think you will appreciate and I think your listeners will appreciate. When I started on this journey, I had days where I didn't want to do it.
Hmm.
I need to get up in the morning and I need to go walk. I need to go to the gym. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
You know. Well, 2 years earlier in 2007, I met a woman named Peggy Chun. The way I met her, I was writing a book at the time where I was driving around the country, the United States, to interview 50 people with amazing stories for a book I was writing.
Hmm.
So she lived in Honolulu, Hawaii. right at the beginning. I started the trip in Hawaii. If you're going to do a nationwide trip, start it in Hawaii, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, so I started in Hawaii. The very first person I interviewed said, "Are you going to be talking to Peggy Chun?" And I said, "Who's Peggy Chun? I have no idea who that is." He said, "You got to go talk to her." So the universe sent me to Amy. So I called Amy's, I said, not to Amy, yeah, to Peggy.
Like,
Okay,
yeah.
so sent me to
That's
Peggy.
okay.
Might have sent me to you too. Who knows?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so sent me to Peggy. I called her daughter, and her daughter said, "You can come over tomorrow. You can talk to my mother." So when I got there, Peggy was in the terminal stages of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh, wow.
Completely bedridden, could not move, could not speak, on a ventilator. The
Mm.
only way she could communicate was trained people could hold up an eye chart and they could read her eye movements and she could spell out words.
Wow.
So it took me like 2 hours to do a 20-minute interview with her.
Mm.
And when I saw her, the thought that went through my mind was, if I ever get like that, I want to be dead.
Mm.
Please take me out. I don't want to be here. But that was not Peggy's attitude.
Mm.
Peggy's attitude was, my grandkids are coming over later today. I can see out the window that it's a beautiful sunny day outside. They're going to roll me outside and I'm going to play with my grandkids and we're going to have a great time. We're going to paint. We're going to do all this great stuff. You know, you're getting ready to drive around the country and you're going to interview these 50 amazing people. Please tell me about every one of them. I want to hear their stories. That sounds like
Oh,
so much fun. I wish I could go with you.
wow.
So this woman who was in a state where I would want to be dead had more joy for life than anyone I've met in my 66 years.
Mm.
So when I had mornings, I didn't want to go walk. You know the saying, what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
I started saying, what would Peggy Chun do if she could?
Oh,
And the answer was she would have gotten her lazy butt out of bed and she'd have gone for a walk and she might not ever come back because she was having such a good time. Here I was complaining that I didn't want to go for a walk when I had met a woman who couldn't walk. You know, the old saying, I once felt sorry that I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet.
right.
You know, so put it in perspective.
Hmm.
You know, all these changes I made, I didn't have to do any of them. There's only one thing you have to do in life, and that is die. That's it.
And pay taxes. Yeah.
No, you don't have to do
Sorry.
that. I know you might go to jail,
I know.
but you don't have to pay taxes.
Right.
But
That's
you do
true.
have, but you do have to die.
Yeah.
So I started saying, it's my privilege to go for a walk. It's not an obligation. It's not something I have to do. It's something I get to do. I took my big, long have to do list, ripped it up, and rewrote it and called it a get to do list.
Oh, that's good.
These are things I get to do. I get to go to work today. You know, I get to help this person. I get to exercise today. I get to eat healthy today. You know, I'm still alive. I get to do these things. One of my older brothers who died when he was 60 from heart issues, he doesn't get to do those things. He's
Mhm.
gone. Can't do it anymore. So you can do it.
Yeah. Perspective is huge. One of the things, because I don't know if you know, but I lived 10 years with a broken neck that went
Ooh,
undiagnosed for 6 months. I almost ended my life, and it was a whole miserable journey. So I've come a long way since then to be able to live the life I'm living now. But I still get discouraged that I'm not able to do more. So I have to go back and look at how far I've come, and I think it's really helpful for everyone in our lives to look back to see how far we've come, what we're able to do now that maybe we weren't able to do in the past. I think can be a really helpful practice as well.
absolutely. But also remember, like they tell you when you're making a financial investment, the past does not necessarily represent the future.
That's right.
That's why, well, I've always failed before. In the past, you have always failed before. Today is a new day.
Hmm.
Perhaps you won't fail today.
Yeah.
Perhaps you will learn something. That's called positive self-talk. Reframing things. You
Yeah.
know, you're discouraged. You can't do what you want to do. But when you reframe it and you go, yes, but I couldn't even do what a few years ago, I couldn't even do what I do now.
Hmm.
That makes it so much better. It's just,
Yeah.
it's with me. Too, life is an evolutionary process and life is a long-term game. The problem is we live in a short-term world.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the quick fix, the instant fix. And we need to learn to think in decades and then act daily. I mean, and to give you an example of what I mean by that, I'm 66, gonna be 67 in 3 months. I have a 5-year plan. I have a 10-year plan. I have a 20-year plan. I have a 50-year plan. And believe it or not, don't know if I'm gonna make it. I have a 100-year plan. And you know what is at the end of that 100-year plan? Wake up and see world peace.
Mm,
That's my goal in my 100-year plan.
I love that.
And that's part of what keeps me going. Am I going to make it? Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do what I can control. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to continue walking. I mean, I'll give you an example. I walk a marathon every year on my birthday. You know what my goal is for my 100th birthday? Walk a marathon.
Yeah.
Why? Because I can.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
have to do it. I can. See, I am in year 18 of looking for my limits, and I haven't found them yet.
Mm,
That's how powerful we are.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, are there some
True.
things I can't do? Yeah, I mean, I will never be the starting second baseman for the New York Yankees. That ain't gonna happen. But I could consult with and counsel the starting second baseman for the New York Yankees and make him into a better second baseman. Those are things I
Yeah.
can. So it's all in how you look at it.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about selfish, about being selfish. And, I see that as totally different, which obviously you do too, since you wrote a book about it. Excuse me. Um, but I have seen the biggest shifts in my life when I started caring for myself first, putting myself first, and thinking about myself first. Not that I'm discarding everyone else, but that
No,
but I can't give what I don't have. So I have to make sure I have what I want to give so that I can give it. And that's not
absolutely.
selfish. There's nothing selfish about
No,
that.
absolutely. But I'll give you some examples of selfishness. When I first started on this thing, one of the changes I made was I'm going to quit eating at 5 o'clock at night. My mother-in-law used to like to take the family out to dinner at 7:30 at night. Problem there. What do I do? I sat there, we'd go out to dinner. I told her and I explained to the family, I said, I don't eat past 5 o'clock. I'm not going to eat. I'll sit there. I mean, I came here to talk with you. I came here to socialize. I didn't come here to eat. And I used to drive my mother-in-law nuts.
Mm.
She said, you're crazy. And I said, maybe I am, but don't let my craziness become your craziness. And and I told her, think of me as a cheap date. Look at all the money I am saving you
Yeah.
because you don't have to buy me dinner. And it bothered her for 3, 4 years. And then finally one day, she said, you may be crazy, you may be whatever, but I'm very proud of you. You look very good. What you've done
Mm.
is amazing. And keep it up. But I had to go through 4 years of being looked at funny, you
Yeah.
know, but I didn't care. I was selfish in a healthy way. Same thing when I started out. My form of exercise is different than what a lot of people do. My exercise philosophy is different. Most doctors, exercise people, their philosophy is hard, 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 hard for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. My philosophy is long and slow, long and
Hmm.
slow for long periods of time. You know who my role model is? The snail. This is
Huh.
Stanley. This is Stanley the snail.
Yeah.
Say hello,
Okay.
Stanley. How you doing?
Yep.
Hi.
There's so
But yeah,
Stanley.
that's my role model. Steady, diligent, persistence, keep going. And what I've explained to some leading doctors is that there are mental aspects to long, slow exercise that you don't get from high intensity training.
Mm.
You know how much time I spend with myself thinking that has
Yeah.
allowed me, when you walk like I do, you meet some very interesting people, and the most interesting
Hmm.
person is yourself.
That's right.
And you sit there and you think and you do those things. There are mental aspects to this game. You know, all the people they told me, Stanley, you're not going to get in shape, you're not getting your heart rate up. You know something? When I exercise, my heart rate almost never gets above 80. Yet, at the age of 66, my blood pressure is like 95 over 55 with no drugs.
Hmm.
I lost all this weight and I've kept it off. I haven't been sick in years, and I'm not trying to tempt fate by saying that, but I haven't been sick in years.
Sure. Yeah.
And
This
so,
this sounds like a TEDx talk waiting to happen.
yeah, I must have, yeah, from your mouth to God's ear. Please tell them to
Yeah.
invite. So it, but I did nothing right, but here I am.
Yeah.
I must have done something right. That's another
Well,
thing. Believe in yourself.
I was going to say that, that we have this inner knowing that each one of us knows what's best for our bodies. We know what we need to be doing. We just don't trust ourselves enough because we're trusting everyone else instead of ourselves. But if we'll turn that energy inward and figure out what we need and do it, there's no telling what we could do. Yeah, very
That's why,
powerful.
that's why, Amy, I turned everything I learned into a system,
Yeah.
and I call it the way of excellence. And it's not just a weight loss system. It is a human operating system. It's like Windows 11, Mac OS, Android for what it is to be a human being,
Hmm.
an excellent human being. It's all about the qualities of excellence. And because I turned it into a system, each person can apply the system to their own life in their own way, in the way that works for them. That's because the world does not need another Stanley. It already has one.
Hmm.
But it does need each and every one of us to become the best people we can be,
Right.
to optimize ourselves. That is my dream. That is my vision. That is what I want. Am I a lunatic? Maybe. But if I am, I hope I'm a blessed lunatic. Yeah.
Uh,
That's what I want. And I'm fortunate. I'm in a stage in life. I don't have to work. I could retire right now if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
yeah.
This is my mission. This is what I choose to do. It is what I want to do. Let's work together and let's make it happen one person at a time.
I love that. That's amazing. I tell you. Please tell us how we can find out more about what you do, how we can reach you, and all of the information.
Go to my
The way of,
website,
okay, the way of excellence.com.
thewayofexcellence.com. Please put that in the show notes.
Actually, yeah, I will.
Okay, thewayofexcellence.com. If you go there, there's three tabs, and I simplified it. There's three tabs. First one, which is the default one where you land on, scroll down. It's got videos on each one of the 20 parts of the system. They're 8 to 12 minutes each. They're kid friendly. So you can watch them with your kids, with your grandkids, do whatever. Watch one a day. 8 to 12 minutes, one a day. In less than a month, you'll learn the whole system. Then next tab, there's guidebooks. I've got like tons of books up there, all free, all digital, all free for digital download. Or you can read them on the website as well
Hmm.
there. So you can do that. And then the third tab is healthy living. And in there, I answer a lot of the weight loss questions, you know,
Mm.
but how you awaken your new identity. And there's a lot of videos there, and it's some of it with other experts I've consulted with as well. How do you, see, when I went from the person on the left to the person on the right, that
Hmm.
person on the right was inside the person on the left all the time.
Right. Yeah.
But I had to change my identity and let him out.
Hmm.
Um, and then the second thing is 10 things to do, 10 things that are keeping you from losing weight. Added salt, added sugar. When I was in Costco, I saw a lady, she was looking at this seasoning mix and she turned it around and reading the label on the back. And whenever I see someone reading the label on the back, then I feel it's my invitation to tell them what I've learned. I told her that's loaded with salt. I said, not good for you. And she said, my son's been telling me that. And I said,
Mm.
well, your son is right. And then she put it back on the shelf. And I said, you see all these things that are on the aisles right here? Some of them are okay. Most of them are not. Two things to look for, added salt and added sugar. You want to see that added sugar number. You want it to be zero or pretty close to it
Hmm.
because you don't need added sugar in your bodies.
Yeah.
Those, just, get enough sleep. Um, get how to get more fiber in your diet because everybody says I need more protein when the reality is what they probably need is more fiber
Yeah.
and and all these things. So it's all there. I made it free. And the reason
That's
it's free
amazing.
is not everyone has money. I don't want money to get in the way. One of the big problems I think out there is so much of the information we're getting, like the pharmaceutical companies who are trying to sell us drugs.
Hmm.
These are my opinions again. They just want to make money off of us. And if these drugs have long-term effects where they hurt us, they may say they care, but I'm not sure they do because 5, 10, 20 years from now, they'll come up with another drug that they'll sell us to fix the problems that they caused with the first drugs. So I don't like those things. I don't believe in those things. If you're thinking about getting started on the weight loss drugs, go to my website, read what it says on there, send me an email at the bottom of every page. There's a link, click contact Stanley. Talk to me. I work with people privately all the time. That's not free when you work with me privately, but all
Sure.
but I make all the information available on the website for free. So if you don't have money, like I had one person I talked to a month or two ago. He said he wanted to make changes in his life. And the guy I was talking to said, well, I charge $7,000, $8,000. And he said, I don't have the $7,000, $8,000. And the guy said, well, I guess you're on your own.
Mm.
See, I don't do that.
Yeah.
You may be on your own, but here's all the information you need so that when you're on your own, you're getting good information. And
Yeah.
and another reason I don't charge is I want you to know that I don't have ulterior motives. That what I'm telling you is because I care about you, not because I'm just trying to make a buck off of you.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
am and I am fortunate that I am in a position in life where I can do that. Not everyone can do that. You have bills to pay, you have things to do. You can't do that. I get it. I understand that. But,
Yeah.
I work very hard to get to the stage in life where I wake up every day and for the most part I do what I want to do when I want to do it. I still have
What a
paying clients.
gift.
Yeah, I still have paying
Yeah.
clients. There are things I have to do,
Yeah.
from time to time, but for the most part, I enjoy what I do. It
Yeah.
becomes play, not work.
Yeah.
And you know what I
Exactly.
call that? And you know what I call that? Plurk.
I like that. I've never heard of that.
Yes,
That's good.
it becomes plurk. What are you doing? I'm plurking.
I'm Plurkin.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
that's so beautiful. I mean, I love what you're doing, how you're sharing it with the world and putting your information out there for people. I mean, I come in contact with that a lot too. People just, money is hard right now. And so, I am the one who wants to help too. And that's just my heart. And I sense that's the way you are too. So I'm grateful that you're doing that. It's very generous of you. Thank you on behalf of myself and others. I'm definitely going to check out your website and see all the goodies that are on there. And I may be sending you an email to get more information. So
Sounds good.
yeah, thank you so much for being here, for sharing all of this with us. And I'm just grateful for our conversation.
Thank you for having me, Amy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. To those of you watching and listening, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging in there with us and learning more about Stanley and his message. Please share this so that we can get this out to the world. And if you or someone you know who would be interested in being a guest, please reach out to me. If you're interested in booking me for a speaking engagement or one of my books, go to my website, www.getamyshelp.com. And until next time, I will be here holding space for you. Thank you for being here. And to my guest, thank you for your honesty, your courage, and your truth. It's an honor to hold space for people like you. If something in this episode stirred something in you, if you breathed deeper, softened, or felt a pull inward, consider this your invitation. Whether you're ready to share publicly or prefer to remain anonymous, I'd love to hold space for you too. This work isn't just for podcasts, it's for people everywhere. And I'm bringing it into businesses, schools, communities, organizations, anywhere humans need a place to be and for someone to hold space for them. To learn more or to schedule your own session or to be a guest on this podcast, visit www.getamyshelp.com or just reach out to me. I'll meet you with open arms and a quiet, sacred seat. Until next time, thank you for being beautifully, unapologetically human.